I'm going to do something a little bit different today. When I started this channel, I never thought I'd do an unboxing video. Unboxings just don't really seem to suit novels and book reviews. A book is something that you need to take your time with and get to know, develop that intimate relationship with, and unboxing videos just don't seem like the right vehicle to do that. But recently, something showed up in the mail. I got to check it out and wanted to share it with you. So I got this package here from Century Press. It happens to be a copy of a book I'm very familiar with, The Great Gatsby. As you can see behind me here, I've got lots of copies of Gatsby. There's the classic cover there. Century Press caught my attention when I started learning about them online. First of all, they're a Canadian company, which interested me. Their first offering was a limited edition, hand-numbered copy of The Great Gatsby at a very reasonable price. Once I drilled down on the company a little bit and learned more about them, I realized that this was really something I wanted to support. As a Canadian, I thought it was pretty cool. They've just got a really interesting approach. They're looking at sourcing as much of the material for their books as they can locally, from the paper to the leathers that are used. They also upcycle the leather from the garment industry, and so they're environmentally conscious in that way. Most interesting, though, is their printing technique. They want to produce their special or deluxe editions via letterpress, which is something different and something that interests me. After learning about the company and exploring its website, I decided to pull the trigger and order their first release. Century Press is out of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, our beautiful nation's capital, and they do a very good job with their communication. The head of the company is a fellow named Alex, and fairly regularly he publishes these letters on the website, and they let potential customers know all about the process that's gone into making the books, from some of the choices that had to be made to meeting the actual individual people that are part of the team that are putting these books together, from the binder to the folks running the letterpress. We get to experience this process along with him as he's making the book, including us in his decisions via these letters and the communication that comes from the company. Now, before I open mine, I want to be clear that I ordered it myself and paid for it myself, and so in no way is this a biased review. So we'll flip to a top-down view as I open up this package, and I'll share my thoughts with you on it. So we'll start by taking a look at the box. The package from Century Press is a little bit innovative in its design. We've got these tapered edges that seem like they'll hold the book in place and prevent damage. There's a quick rip tab on the back, so we'll open it up now. That's easy enough. Let's take a look inside. The book is double packaged. We'll get rid of the wrapping here. There's a sticker on the front holding the tissue paper on. Get rid of this. And there it is in all its glory. Well, the back of it anyway. Let's flip this thing around and take a look at the front. Alright, coming out of the cardboard, my first impression is that it's small, but it's not too small. I've got some points of comparison here. Here's the smallest hardback I own, a copy of Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil, and as we can see, the Great Gatsby is bigger than that. If we throw it up against a couple copies of Gatsby that I've got kicking around here, we'll start with this Collins Classic version, and we can see that the Century Press is shorter but wider. And then if we take a look at this Penguin edition, they're roughly the same width, and the Century Press is a bit shorter. But the feeling of it in hand is something else. The leather is so soft.
The leather's so soft.
It's upcycled sheepskin from the garment industry, I believe, and the feel of it is like the nicest pair of leather pants or a nice leather jacket. We're talking a few steps beyond what you might find on a nice couch or on the most luxurious automobile interior.
The leather's so soft.
But it goes so hard.
I've got a 1-inch mark on the back of mine, and that's just fine. That's normal imperfections that occur when you're dealing with real leather. The printing is done in a lovely gold. On the front, we've got the title, and a great image of the mansion with the reflection in the water. And finally, the author, F. Scott Fitzgerald. If we flip it open, we see we've got some plain end papers. Next, we've got the title page. We've got an introduction from Miles Korak, and the cover art is credited to Rachel Moranis. From what I understand, there's no illustrations in this edition, but the upcoming release from Century Press, The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway, which is scheduled for a spring release, it's going to have at least one piece of original art, a frontispiece, and it looks lovely. I'd assume as the company matures and finds its stride, we'll be seeing more commissioned artwork in upcoming releases. I happen to get copy 354 of 500, and I hope that means that they're doing well and they've sold the 353 before this. This has been available for a bit now, so I don't know how much longer the 500 piece count is going to last, but we can see here that it says first edition, first printing. It was printed by Ian Bristow in Cornwall, Ontario, and it was bound by Smith Falls Bookbinding in Smiths Falls, Ontario. Here's the introduction called The Great Gatsby Then and Now, and it's fairly long at 10 plus pages. I look forward to reading it mostly because it's so fresh. It was written by Korak in Ottawa, Canada in April of 2021. Now, I'm sure it's not evident on screen, but there is clearly something different about this printing in hand. That is the letterpress effect that I'm noticing. This is my first modern letterpressed book, and you can clearly see a difference. The impressions are visible to the naked eye. There are slight indentations in the paper because the letters, of course, are pressed right in. Consequently, they're kind of reverse embossed. On this page, in fact, you can see the impressions coming through the other side. The quote from Thomas Park Dainvallier, it's actually pushed through on the front side of this page. We've got some lovely little flourishes here. And the text is just crisp and clean. It's easy to read. There's the ribbon bookmark, always nice to have, and some end papers to finish it off. This is a lovely addition. The little nick in the back really doesn't bother me. It adds a little bit of character and reminds me that this is not a machine-made book. This is a handcrafted book, and you can tell by some of the edgework and some of the other imperfections. It doesn't have that machined precision. It has that handmade love and care. That's what makes it special. It's very well built. It's Smith sewn. You can see the black and yellow thread on the top. And inside we can see the threads that are holding the individual signatures together. The construction is beautiful, and this is a really nice addition. It might be the crown jewel of my Gatsby collection. We'll see how it does against the competition when I put it into a upcoming upgrade battle.
The leather's so soft.
So for my final thoughts on The Great Gatsby by Century Press, I think it's a fantastic first release. I'm really excited about this company and where it's headed. I'm going to be following them and keeping an eye on them. I really think this volume offers a tremendous value at $100 Canadian to get a full leather-bound, Smith-sewn, numbered, limited novel at this quality of build is a fantastic value. I cannot oversell the quality of the leather. If I just quickly compare it to something like this Franklin Library or an Eastern Press book, where they're allegedly bound in full leather, but the leather is hard, it's probably, I don't know, boiled or something like that. There is no comparison in hand to this volume. It feels fresh, it feels new, it feels quality. Everything about this book in hand feels like a quality binding. And if it's their first release, just imagine the heights that this company can reach as they learn more, as they grow, and as they continue to explore techniques and develop their particular style in the marketplace. Century Press, The Great Gatsby, awesome stuff.